Joyce, if you don't mind telling us a little bit about yourself, your past experience, so our community can understand a little bit more about you.
It's great to be here, and thanks for having me. Well, where do I start? It's been 33 years, so it's a long, long time. But I'm Joyce Maina. I'm based in the UK, and I'm international tea consultant. I run a small company called Cambridge Tea Consultancy, which also owns Cambridge Tea Academy. And my background is that I've done tea all my life since I left university. And that's how I've ended up as a tea expert with over 30 years of experience. I started in Kenya, where I'm originally from, and I've ended up in the UK. In between, I've done everything from tea buying, tea selling, tea blending, blend development and innovation, as well as market development and support. So I also work as director at European Specialty Tea Association. This is an NGO, not-for-profit organization, whose mission is really to elevate the standards of tea internationally, not just in Europe. So I'm one of the directors. And the third hat that I wear is that I'm international consultant for the UN trade arm ITC.
This is a very big bio, and I'm pretty sure that on another call we're gonna, spend some more time so we can unravel everything and give a little bit more detail and information around that. So we're definitely gonna have another call, the two of us, so we can talk a little bit more, because I think it's very, very interesting. I wanted to touch on the 5S grading system, and why do you believe that it's important for Sri Lanka, and what impact will it have for the people there?
That's a really good question. I mentioned that one of the hats I wear is international consultant for the UN, the trading arm being International Trade Center, so ITC. ITC in 2021 commissioned me to produce the 5S system, actually. So it is actually co-created by me, funded and facilitated through the ITC, and that project was funded by the European Union. So it's got some serious backing behind it. And why did we create this language? Why did we feel it was necessary? And this will help you see why it is necessary for Sri Lanka. So at the time, I was working on a project with ITC for East African specialty tea producers. We wanted to help them access markets. So the big role that the ITC performs is to help developing SMEs in developing countries to access markets in the West. So we were trying to do that for these specialty producers for tea. Now, in order to access these markets for tea, it is critical that they understand quality. You totally understand quality, you're able to articulate it, you're able to identify it, because that is the only way then you know that the product you're making suits the market you're targeting. You know what the consumer in those markets requires, and you can bring the two together. A lot of people don't know what quality they are. Am I making good quality tea or average quality tea? So how then can you access those markets? You don't understand what the French market requires, the US market requires, UK market, all different. So this language enables the producer and the buyer and even the consumer to speak the same language when they describe the quality of the tea. It's about what does it look like? What does it smell like? What does it taste like? And when you're able to articulate all of that and wrap it around in a beautiful storytelling about the terroir where that tea grows and the people who grow it, the conditions under which they work, the lives of those people, the environment in that place. You wrap all that together, and the language also enables you to put it in numbers. So in those numbers, it's quick and easy to understand, right across from producer to consumer. So that's in a nutshell what the 5S is all about. It's about also articulating that in a very simple way, 5 attributes, 5 levels of quality. So easy, simple to articulate and understand. Why is it important? As I said, if you can't speak the same language, the producer will think he's making the right thing. The buyer will be busy looking for the thing he wants, but he can't quite understand what the producer is saying. And the consumer gets all messed up. He sees a tea on the store. He doesn't even know which one to choose, because nothing is telling him which tea here suits what I'm looking for. So this is a language that enables that communication and articulation to happen.
This is an incredible way to actually describe it, because now I understand it as well, like 100%.
Good, very good.
So thank you so much for providing that information to us. I think it's going to be very, very valuable for everyone in the community to understand that essentially this language is what will provide them with that access to the global market with the use of Palmyra, of course. This is very, very exciting to learn. I wanted to ask you now, because we all know that you were in Sri Lanka along with the rest of the Zengai team, and you conducted some workshops with the tea producers there. So I wanted to ask you, how did it go? What was your feeling going to Sri Lanka, talking to the producers? We saw that you had quite a few meetings and you went to quite a few gardens. So I really want to ask you, like, what's your feeling after going to Sri Lanka, talking to people and seeing how things are going over there?
It was such a success, Theo, because we went, as you said, we visited producers, and the specialty tea producers welcomed us with both arms. They were so welcoming. They're such authentic, natural people. And this is the thing about, in particular, specialty tea producers. They do everything from their heart, and we could really see it and feel it, that the way they look after the land, the way they look after the people. First place we went, we were met by a group of about 30 little kids, all with flowers for us and garlands for us, and it was so heartwarming. So the people are really authentic. They believe in what they're doing. So when they produce these teas, they're making something that they really want to put love into and present a tea that is of good quality with great sustainability credentials for drinkers around the world to understand, to enjoy. So that was number one. Number two, these guys really got it. They understood what Palmyra is about. They understood what it can do for them, that this is something that would enable these wonderful teas that they're creating with so much love actually be visible and accessible to people around the world, that people will get not just to buy these teas, but to hear the stories and to see the faces of those people there who are making these teas. So they got it and they wanted it. They were really excited about it. They can't wait to get on the platform and be able to tell these stories. And then we had the workshops, and the workshops were really good. We had nearly 100 people, from tea boards to small producers, and they were all, again, they got it. This is not to say they did not ask questions to kind of probe what we're doing and to challenge a little bit, but overall, it was really good and successful, so much so that the tea board has asked us to communicate with them to send a proposal on how we can take this to the next step, the next level, by going back to Sri Lanka, doing more things to embed this tea system, the Palmyra system, so that between all those things, working very closely with the tea board and the people in Sri Lanka, we can take this to the next level and start to actualize, seeing these beautiful teas and these wonderful stories on the Palmyra platform and getting the world to see it and to buy the teas.
This is amazing to hear. I did have a view of how things went, but that actually, filled me with a lot of energy myself. You told us in the very beginning that you were born in Kenya, and I'm assuming you know exactly what's happening in the East African region. How do you think Palmyra can have an impact in Kenya? Now that you know about Palmyra, you know what the vision and the goal is, and you know that the solutions that we're bringing, from your experience, what do you think, how big of an impact is Palmyra going to have there?
What I love about Palmyra, it is so global. It is so applicable wherever there is tea being produced and other commodities. But, I'm on the tea side. As I talked about market access and being able to bring these stories and these wonderful products to the world, the same thing would apply in Kenya, because Kenya is a number one exporter of tea in the world. Yeah. But majority of the tea that Kenya exports is commodity tea, which is not a problem. But in tea, we've got commodity tea and we've got specialty tea. So they're very big in commodity teas and a little small, very, very small in specialty tea. So with the Palmyra platform, we'll be able to bring accessibility and visibility, number one, to the specialty teas they are producing, because at the moment, because they're so well known for commodity teas, they're not really known for specialty teas. So this is going to help them open up to the world to say, hey guys, we don't just do this, we do this as well. But also those producers are very small and they don't have any structured marketplaces to sell the tea. So this is going to give them a marketplace to take a global marketplace to take their teas to. But that's not to say we can't also use the Palmyra system to sell commodity type teas. It is basically giving them an alternative market access system to enable to put the teas out there and get the buyers who want to pay the best prices, buyers who recognize the value that this system is putting into it. It's the transparencies, it's the logistics, it's the product stories, and it's the quality of the teas that we'll be selling.
That's amazing. And going to Kenya, I think, will be something that will be groundbreaking in sense of, unlocking this huge commodity market in general. And of course, to your point, specifically Kenya, bring the MSMEs, the specialty tea producers into the global markets. And I think this will be very, very valuable for the economy in general. What is your network there? So again, our community can understand a little bit more about your position into the region over there.
Well, you're right. I was born in Kenya and I lived in Kenya most of my life. I've only lived in England for about 20 years. So I've lived more years in Kenya than over here. I still maintain very close relationships in Kenya, both family and business. I travel to Kenya for business at least once a year, every year, sometimes more than once. I was just there in November this year and in January again this year, and I'll be going again in April. Sorry, last year. Last year I went twice. This year I'll be going in April sometime. So I've got very close relationships with Kenya from a tea business perspective. Why? Because Kenya is a very important exporter, like I said, of tea. A lot of blends around the world are built around Kenyan tea. Kenya produces some of the best quality teas in the world as well. And so there's a wide selection of teas in Kenya, and the possibilities out of Kenya are really wide. They're wide. You've got good quality teas, you've got good infrastructure, you've got tea systems that are very well set, very good factories, good quality standards of production. So it lends itself beautifully to producing teas at a specialty level as well as commodity level for the global markets. And the quality of tea that is produced in Kenya is also very applicable to different markets, which makes it a really ripe sort of origin for the kind of teas that we're looking for this platform. So I think this platform is going to be absolutely wonderful for them. We've already spoken to a few producers there and they're like, yeah, we want it, bring it. They already want it. It's also going to be a really good platform for buyers around the world to start to see teas they didn't think Kenya can make. Yeah, to start to experience wonderful teas out of that place. And I'm really excited about it. It's a land of sunshine, and that sunshine creates some sort of magic in the tea there that I want the world to see.
I'm as excited as you are, to be honest with you. And I just wanted to take the time to thank you so much for being with me and, sharing your experiences, from Sri Lanka and from your life in general. I have to tell you that I'm looking forward for our next lengthier interview because there's a lot of things to unpack and there's a lot of things from us to learn from you. Just closing now, I wanted to ask you some of your closing thoughts around Palmyra, what we're doing in general, what the vision is, and how we can really have an impact on producers' lives.
Wow, that's a super question. I think how we can have a real impact on producers' lives is getting them good prices or higher prices for their product. One of the real problems that affects the tea industry globally is a situation where there's a lot of not very good quality tea, which is fetching very low prices, which therefore translates to less than a livelihood for producers. So you got a lot of farmers making tea, producing tea, but cannot make enough money to survive. And yet that's the only source of income they've got. The picture I paint might sound gloomy, but it's real. It's real. A lot of farmers are struggling. So what difference can Palmyra make? If Palmyra, we enable some farmers to get a better price through getting better visibility of their stories, of their product, helping them through the 5S system to create the best quality tea they can make, which will therefore get them the best price they can get. Altogether, that will improve the income that they get and therefore the livelihoods of them and their families. I think this is really, really important. The transparency piece that Palmyra brings is also crucial, because a lot of people buy tea, but they have no idea who makes it. They have no idea what the lives of those people are like. So bringing these lives to the forefront, to the buyers and the consumer, will change the lives of the farmers, because suddenly people know that's the guy I want to help. That's a woman who plucks my tea. I want to buy this tea so she can have a better life. So I think that kind of transparency is really, really going to change people's lives. It's going to put these little farmers who are at the moment unknown, invisible, out in the global market for people to see and support.
Joyce, I cannot thank you enough for all the information you shared with us and for the time that you spent with me on today's interview. I can't thank you enough, and I cannot wait for the next time that you and I will hop on a call and have a lengthier conversation, so that way the community will get to know a lot more about you. Thank you again.
Absolutely my pleasure, Theo. Lovely to speak to you, and thanks for having me on.